The rose-colored citation dangled from her polished nails like a piece of metal, her smirk curling my stomach. "That'll be $500, Linda cackled, sunglasses perched as if she was the star of a bad legal thriller. My boat, the one I'd spent 2 years rebuilding with my deceased father, rested firmly in my driveway, not an inch on public property, yet there she stood, HOA president, as if I'd moored a battleship in a kindergarten sandbox. I glared at the ticket, then at her, my pulse pounding, not with fear but with rage mixed with incredulity. That boat, a gleaming blue Belliner, was my dad's last gift to me, our sole project, which did not end in a brawl. Now this lady wanted to locate me for its sake. "You're kidding. I said it's on my land. No code prohibits that." Linda did not blink. "It's ugly. Lowers property values." Page 14, subsection C, no visible recreational cars. "My house isn't even within the HOA, I retorted, jabbing across the street. "Your boundary line is there." She sniffed. "We're redoing the lines for the community's sake." Behind her, Carl, with his clipboard and belly, and Evelyn, smelling of mints and rumors, nodded like sycophantic henchmen. I gnawed my cheek, looking at the bow. Smooth hull, new sealant, neater than most houses here? Linda wasn't looking at it. She was looking at me. This wasn't aesthetics, it was power. My neighbor Mike stood at his fence, mouthing again. I nodded. Linda had previously targeted me before me, porch swings, unapproved shade, my non-conforming mailbox. She handed me the ticket and strutted off, Carl and Evelyn trailing like obedient pets. I stood there, sun scorching my neck, the pink paper burning my palm, feeling not just attacked, but hunted. That night, I sat on the boat's stern, a beer in hand. Dad's old fishing cap in my lap. Marina flags fluttered in the distance where Linda loved to parade, sipping seltzer barking orders via Bluetooth like she owned the docks. Something snapped: patience, pride, or the part of me that had grieved Dad in silence. I grabbed my laptop and dug. At a block party, Linda had boasted of the HOA negotiating Marina control, 2 hours, endless county records, and a call to a tired clerk. Later, I struck Pater. The Marina wasn't owned by a corporation, but by a retiring couple. No heirs wanting to sell. The cost was high, but possible. The HOA's ticket wasn't a limited, was a challenge. I called my cousin Tanya, an attorney for real estate. She laughed, then became serious, completely on board by the end of the call. 3 days later, I met the owners of the Marina, Jack and Betty, at a harbor cafe. They were friendly, tired, and hated Linda for pushing them to reserve slips for HOA elites. When I offered to buy and keep the Marina public, they smiled. "You're saving it," Betty said. "We prefer that." We shook on it, a letter of intent signed, and I departed with a grin. Linda thought she'd slapped me with a penalty. She'd given me a tool. By the time her next newsletter wound around non-compliant marine vehicles I was writing, Marina Fears, with a special one for HOA members. The week dragged tense but electric. I mowed the lawn, waved at neighbors, cleaned the boat to taunt Linda, but evenings were spent with Tanya drawing up contracts. From a fine nobody to Marina owner, it felt unreal. Tanya moved quickly, sensing the stakes. Linda had embarrassed me publicly, treating my house like her thief, assuming I'd cringe. Her arrogance was her blind spot. By Thursday, the sale agreement was complete, airtight, giving me full control while keeping public access. I was able to charge fees, control slips, and ban miscreants. A special rate tiers clause was my wild card. Jack and Betty signed, relieved to be rid of Linda's interference, like her insistence on an HOA-only walkway. The Marina was in my control. I kept it under wraps, letting Linda's subsequent movie a flyer regarding Marina access negotiations lead her into my trap. I stopped by the Marina, meeting flabbergasted but relieved dock hands. Linda had handled them like serfs threatening inspections over subtle flaws. I vowed fair wages, no HOA interference. We toured the docks, noting repairs and expansion spots. A worker. Tim laughed about Linda reserving half the dock for her book club's brunch, displacing veteran fishermen. That influenced my policies. New signs went up, new ownership. HOA members checked passes, raised fees for previous abuse. Staff memorized the rule for complaints 36 hours later. Linda stormed in heels, clicking Carl and Evelyn panting behind. "Who approved this?" "Where's Jack?" she insisted. I glanced up from my clipboard. "That's me." Her face locked a tidal wave crashing over her ego. I handed her the policy package, private facility. "Itches been freeloaders. Pay up," she stammered. "You can't increase fees, Carl," mumbled Evelyn, threatened lawsuits. I slid over zoning docs and the deed. "Try me." They stormed off fuming. Word spread like wildfire. Neighbors whispered support. HOA loyalists called me a tyrant. Linda taped a Florida letter to every mailbox accusing me of gatekeeping and demanding a legal battle. I responded with a memo based on facts at the Marina Cafe and bulletin board, private marina, public access, reasonable fees. That weekend, I had a marina barbecue, burgers, music children, fishing, 50 families attended. Linda, observed from the opposite side of the street. Sunglasses on fuming Monday arrived at a law firm's letter, harsh accusing discriminatory fees. Tanya chuckled. The firm was all bluster. She composed a reply, referencing records and threatening harassment. Linda pushed an HOA vote toward lawsuit, but a zoning administrator derailed the meeting, denouncing the marina beyond HOA authority. Abused HOA funds for flyers, threatened audits and evictions. Karen palled, a neighbor ripped up her notice. The vote to evict her passed unanimously. She departed quietly, defeated. Then sabotage struck. A sailboat's rope came untied, drifting into another slip. Life vests went missing, a trash can was overturned, oil covered the electrical panel, fishing lines were cut, gum jammed in the gates. Card reader, I put night vision cameras catching Carl and another man prying a shed at 2:43 a.m. Dock hands verified. We called. The sheriff Carl was arrested for trespassing and vandalism. Linda faced me. At the station yelling about a frame job, she blocked the door, was cuffed for obstruction, and released, but her fire had gone. Her lawn grew wild. Her flag came down. The HOA removed her in a secret vote. The marina thrived, cleanups, free lessons, expanded docks, support poured in cookies, notes, tourists. I banned ex-board members with records from leases, added sensors, and felt balance, not revenge. At dusk, I sat on the dock, Dad's photo and hand, squinting his arm around me. He'd said, "Water shows a man's truth." Evelyn approached apologetic, proposing a marina garden. I offered lemonade and support. The barbecue became a tradition, neighbors laughing under stars. A teen asked to fish. I said yes. His mom mouthed, "Thank you." The marina wasn't just docks. It was community rebuilt, not with hate, but resolve. A for sale sign struck Linda's lawn. She departed at dawn, unseen. A mural emerged on the office. Boats, kids, freedom floats, music nights commenced. Families dancing barefoot. On a moonlit ride, I anchored offshore. Stars above town, lights soft. I'd won not merely a marina, but peace dignity. A future Linda's empire collapsed because folks quit bowing.